Well, and that's because then Triple H went and introduced Rhea Ripley, the new women's champion, but she came out with the Judgment Day with Dominik and Priest and Finn, and we thought since the people were leaning towards her that maybe they would break her off and and make her her own entity in the Judgment Day, whatever, break up her and Dom, even though that's been so good and it's great for Dominik. She's still in the group now. You mentioned the draft. Maybe that'll change, but does she need to be the leader of this group now if she's going to be in it? She's more important than any of the other individuals in it, and the next guy is Dominik, and she fits with him. Does she need to be the one calling the shots?
If it's not her, who do you think is? Priest?
Well, originally it was Edge, and then Finn took Edge's spot, but Finn is nowhere near the leader. So I don't know. Maybe they're leaderless, rudderless.
Rhea's the one that got Dominik. I kind of think Rhea may have the argument as being the leader. She was one of the first two, her and Damian Priest with Edge. So when they turned on Edge, she was involved. So I think she is the leader.
Well, and she told everybody to rise for mommy and had all kinds of fire in this thing. And then Finn promoted Edge a little bit in the 14 staples in his head. But then when Dominik started to speak, people lost their shit. I mean, they wouldn't let him speak. They booed him out of the arena. Every time he tried to start, they got louder. They were enjoying it. And finally, he just had to yell over him. They could have been out there all night. But his story was he held back at WrestleMania so he wouldn't hurt Ray, and that's the only reason that Ray won. And he told his family to go to hell and take Bugs Bunny with him. And yeah, I couldn't hurt my father, but I held back. And then they had a bit of the VTR of what happened with the bunny, the other night. And
while they're standing there, they just go to it while they're in the middle of the promo.
To it while they're in the ring standing there. But at least they can watch the screen, I guess. But then Priest spoke Spanish and English to Bugs, to the bunny. And that's good. He's got a great voice. And then Ray's music plays. And now we just got Dom and Ray at WrestleMania, and now we're going to get a tag team match with them on opposite sides, but with Pablo Escobar and the Lucha suits with Ray and Priest with Dominik. And what I took out of this was, again, it seemed like it should be a hotter match because of the angle. It was a good match, but they didn't showcase it as anything different than any of their normal matches. But Dominik is he's coming on. His in-ring work, the promos, the look, the whole 9 yards. But they did the same thing with this one. They went to the break after a few minutes. I think it gave him a little bit more time. And then back and got some heat on Escobar, and Ray made a comeback. And they did a few zigs and zags. Zelina and Rhea Ripley got in a chase scene. And then Ray finally hit his 619 on Dominik, so the people got a pop. But Damian was legal and hit Edge with his finish 1, 2, 3. And boom, so the program rolls on. Escobar. Or not hit Edge, but hit Escobar. I saw the E and I fucking had a flashback. Hit Escobar with his finish 1, 2, 3. So it was a good match, but didn't shake the world up. What'd you think?
I don't know why. I get a kick out of Escobar as like the do-good lucha appreciator that all of a sudden was friends with Ray. This guy was in the lucha suits. He was the leader. He was all arrogant. And then when Ray was getting disrespected by Dom, he's like, you know what? This has changed me. I now want to embrace my
I'm
lucha
a changed
heritage.
Man.
Yeah, I get a kick out of that. I thought it was an all right match, and it was actually the thing I enjoyed the most in the ring on the show. I'm not completely sick of it because of Dominik. And to go back to that promo, that was quite the moment. The fact that it wasn't go home heat either. It was, we want to see you get your ass kicked again heat.
Yes.
And I wonder, you are someone who probably should have lost all of his heat after the last Stampede, but you didn't because you were really good. Do you see that with Dominik? Like, should he have lost all of his heat after his dad beat him? But it seems like he has more now, even though he lost, and that's what it was. What do you think?
But see, that's the thing, is that the chicken shit heel, the whiny, you never get tired of seeing that guy, get his fucking shit kicked or his comeuppance. You don't want to hospitalize him. You don't want to cart him out in a bloody mess, because that's pretty final. But you can beat him as long as he's annoying and weaselly and shows those qualities back on television and gets to talk. Then you can do that kind of stuff with that kind of heel. And it puts heat on him.
Do you use the draft to break up Ray and Dom on the shows?
It might be an idea, because now how do they have a graceful exit if they're just constantly nattering at each other and they're around each other? There has to be more interaction. But if one gets drafted away, then that might be a graceful way out for both of them. Do Dominik and Rhea get broken up by the draft? Is Rhea as a single more important than this, serendipitous combination they've found? I don't know. These are some interesting questions, but some of the other ones necessarily are not.
See, I hate to say it, but Balor for me is the odd man out, just because when it comes to Dominik, I like Dominik with Rhea. They're great together. I like Dominik with Priest.
Yeah.
I like that relationship, like the big badass, just this fucking trash-talking punk.
Finn is like when they ran out of the Third Stooges and they had to fucking put Joe DeRita in. It's like,
No, those aren't good.
Anyway, Shaky Nakamura's coming back. Heard about that.